Welcome on this Christmas Eve edition of the Common Constitutionalist Weekly Podcast. I'm putting this out on Christmas Eve, and that's not even appropriate, but it certainly isn't appropriate to put it out on Christmas. It's not very Christmassy, so I was thinking about putting it out on Monday, but I'm just going to put it out there. If anybody wants to listen, fine. If not, that's okay too. I'm thinking about Christmas. And you always think about this, there's always one memory of growing up in Christmas. And I don't know why I always think of this, and I don't even know where we were living. But when we were little kids, everybody had their own bedrooms. Well, the four of us, my older brother, my older sister, me, and my younger sister. And I can't even remember which house we were in at that point. But we weren't allowed to go open our presents or do our stockings until I think it was 7 o'clock in the morning. That was the rule. You can't go out into the living room where the tree is or the stockings until 7 a.m. And that was torture for little kids. I mean, we're talking physical angst that we felt in the pit of our stomachs. And I remember distinctly waking up. We were all awake by like 5 o'clock in the morning. And I don't recall whether we went into my brother's room or my older sister's room, and we all sat on the bed there, like from 5 o'clock until 7 o'clock in the morning, just pining, waiting away. It was just I don't know why I remember that so distinctly. I don't remember anything else about it other than the painful wait. The angst, the anxiousness of waiting for Christmas to come. And then it was just, I don't know if your parents were the same way, but my mother, she loves her hot tea, or she used to, I guess she still does. And she had to get her tea, and Dad would torture us by making himself breakfast. And this was all purposeful. Mom, no, but certainly Dad would torture us by making us wait around the tree, because he was the elf and he passed out all the presents. So he would make us wait on purpose, the sorry son of a gun. But it was I don't know. It's a fun memory. I don't know why that always comes up, but it's the first thing I think of when I think of Christmas. But at any rate, so today I've got a couple of topics to talk about. One is serious, and one's is ridiculous, frankly. The first one is an interview that Obama did with NPR just this past Monday, I guess it was, where he declared that regardless of what happens, the Trump administration doesn't make any difference, that America will become a browner country. Okay, so that just struck me as a little bit odd. But whatever, you can listen for the details. And the second one is from the land of the oddities. This comes from the second one is from France, and a woman she loves robots, and she printed herself a robot companion, and now she's engaged to it and wants to marry it. I mean, give me a break. And again, let's chalk this up to who didn't see this one coming when it all started so innocently. Back when, you're supposed to be able to marry whoever you love, and don't let the old traditions stand in the way of love and whatnot. This is where it leads to. That's there you go. So listen or don't listen. Merry Christmas to you. And that's what we got today on the Common Constitutionalist. Thank you. You're too kind for listening to the Common Constitutionalist, broadcasting on location from Santa's workshop. Merry Christmas. Okie dokie. So imagine, if you will, a white politician, any white politician, President-elect Trump, President Bush, Speaker Ryan, McConnell, whomever. Imagine Ronald Reagan declaring during his 1989 farewell address, that shining city on a hill, a tall, proud city, whiter than ever. Now, obviously, he didn't say this. Why would he? He wasn't a racist, nor was Bush, nor is Trump. But you know who is? Obama is a racist. And a lot of black politicians are, turns out, they're racists. They're racialists, and they're racists. And once again, Obama showed his true colors last Monday. NPR, they interviewed Obama, and Yahoo News dutifully reported on it. Regardless of what President-elect Donald Trump's plans are for immigration, President Barack Obama says there will be inevitable changes to the demographics of the United States. If you stopped all immigration today just by virtue of birth rates, this is going to be a browner country, Obama told NPR's Steve Inskeep in an interview that aired last Monday. Now, think back, a decade or so ago, and where have we heard this before? That, what did he say again? That the country it's going to be a browner country? Now think back again. That's right. Former mayor of New Orleans and now federal penitentiary resident for the next 8 years. He got 10 years in 2014. The former mayor, Ray Nagin. Recall what Nagin said. No, not said, proclaimed in his best inner-city black preacher intonation after Hurricane Katrina ripped through New Orleans. You know what? I was going to recreate it, but you might as well just hear it from the jailbird himself. This is from 2006, 2 years after Katrina. And remember, Ray Nagin has just a regular old ordinary American speaking voice. He's got standard inflections, just as I'm speaking now. This is a Ray Nagin from 2006, after Hurricane Katrina. Well, 2 years after Hurricane Katrina. Hit it.
We as black people, it's time. It's time for us to come together. It's time for us to rebuild a New Orleans, the one that should be a chocolate New Orleans. And I don't care what people are saying uptown or wherever they are. This city will be chocolate at the end of the day.
Yes, so now we know that New Orleans was going to be a chocolate city and that the country is going to be a browner country. So basically, you know, I don't know, man. To me, it seems a little bit on the racist side. But this is Obama. This is who this guy is. He's a community organizer. He's not a president, never has been. Just played one on TV for 8 years. And during the interview, Yahoo News reports during the interview, I mean, he just went on and on about racial issues and, you know, how downtrodden everybody is in the inner cities, and that it's everybody's fault but his, of course. He says that, or they report that throughout the process, no, I guess this is a quote, excuse me. Throughout the process, we have also started seeing, because when the economy's not doing so well, some other tensions get laid bare, changing attitudes about sexual orientation and about race and about the nature of families. Yeah, I wonder about that. Let's see, changing attitudes in sexual orientation. Yes, that's right. You've been you on the left have been throwing it in our faces for the past several years now, demanding that we not only accept but celebrate these oddities. Changing attitudes about race. Well, of course, the changing attitudes about race, according to you, is that they're much worse now than they ever have been. And that, again, is all up to you folks on the left. It's all your fault. It certainly isn't ours. And changing attitudes about the nature of families. And he goes on to say it's been a lot of stuff that's been coming up at people really quickly, and it's made folks anxious. He likes the word folks, doesn't he? And it made folks anxious. I wonder what's made folks anxious. It couldn't be the nonsensical language of the left, the vile, hate-filled speech of the left, blaming everybody else for their problems. And Obama, of course, just like every other leftist on the planet, says that the national conversation about race is long overdue. There will be no national conversation about race because there doesn't need to be a national conversation about race, and nor do you people on the left want to have a conversation about race. What you want to do is what you've been doing. You want to preach to us that we're all racist, that we're all bad people, and all the problems of race are all our fault. And that is not a conversation. That's a monologue, which is exactly what you want to happen, and that's what you want to do. There will be no conversation. You guys don't want you couldn't handle a conversation because you'd lose every time you have one. And have you noticed that Obama does the same thing, as just backing up a little bit? He does the exact same thing as Ray Nagin did, and every other one of these populist black politicians that want to curry favor with the so-called black community. They go into their preacher dialect, and they have the same inflections as the black preacher, and they draw their words and everything else, and they make it all homespun, which is not the way they speak, obviously. They just turn it on and turn it off like a light switch, and it's just so bogus, it's so fake and phony. And Obama continues in the interview. And as painful as it is, that conversation is long overdue. So my feeling is that everybody takes a breath, and if we can structure a conversation that is less about how somebody else is trying to take advantage of me, yeah, that's a hot one. That's all you folks preach. And work together to solve problems that makes everybody better off, that America can emerge stronger. Well, I hope that America will emerge stronger because it's about as weak as it can get right about now. We are literally the laughingstock of the world at this point. And he says that requires leadership. Well, I hope we get some leadership because we haven't had any. Remember, leading from behind, that ain't leadership. It requires, this is a good one, it requires the citizenship. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean it requires citizenship like, your want and your requirement to help others, to help other citizens? Or does that mean it requires citizenship like to make everybody a citizen? I think it's probably the latter. I think it's just a veiled attempt at, hey, just give everybody citizenship. It requires all of us doing self-reflection at the same time as we're fighting on behalf of the things that we care deeply about. Well, we know what you care deeply about because you've been fighting for it, demanding it, and mandating it for the past 8 years. And it's all wrong, and it's all bad, and it has nothing to do with America or our values. And Yahoo News says that Obama said he plans to do that self-reflection after he leaves office. He's going to self-reflect for about 37 seconds, and then he's going to set up shop in D.C. and undercut every single thing that this administration tries to accomplish. Guarantee it. Watch for it. He also told NPR that he sees his role as both talent scout and coach for the Democratic Party, someone who can build on the incredible work that has already been done by young people and to a large degree was responsible for getting me elected. Well, talent scout and coach, guess what? Guess what the Democratic Party doesn't want from you? They'll take it because you're a black president, and they're going to have to take it because you're the former president, and a lot of people still love you for whatever the reason. For whatever reason, and it still escapes me that they don't, nobody seems to tie Obama's failed policies to Obama himself, despite the fact that they're his own policies. I've never understood it, don't understand it, other than there's just a lot of dim-witted people out there in America. And that's just, it's harsh, but that's just the way it is. So I don't think that considering the damage he has done to the Democratic Party on the national level, with them losing election after election, and the down-ballot stuff in the states and communities where he's lost, I don't even know how many governorships at this point he's lost that are in Republican hands, and state legislatures. I think, if I recall correctly, the Democrats control a total of 5 states with governorships and legislatures that are Democratic, or Democrats, excuse me, and that's it. And that is a marked change from before he took over. So I don't think they're going to want you as a coach or a talent scout, as it were. So we have something to look forward to in the new year. We're going to have a browner country, I guess, going forward. We're going to have a chocolate country. This is ridiculous. What a silly, silly statement. And what a racist statement. And like I said in the opening, could you imagine if someone were to say, if some white politician would go up there and say, we're going to have a whiter country. Holy crap. I mean, the blank would hit the fan. So let's take a short break, shall we? Yes, we shall.
You're listening to The Common Constitutionalist. Let the truth be known.
Okay, I think we can chalk this one up to who didn't see this coming. And the wackiness, we've said for a long time, wackiness in America usually starts in two places. It starts either in California and migrates east, or it starts in Europe. It flies over to California and then migrates east, or something to that effect. Well, this is something you could have seen coming a mile away. And it's just like everything else that gets ramped up. It starts small, it starts innocuous and harmless. And it builds until you end up with something like this. Allow me to explain, shall I? We've said that those of us who are not in favor of homosexual marriage said that will lead to other things. Okay, it's going to lead the homosexual, it'll lead to transgenders, and eventually somebody's going to want to marry their pet, which people have tried to do or wanted to do, and eventually it will lead to AI, artificial intelligence. Okay, somebody's going to want to marry their computer, or they're going to want to date their iPhone, or something maybe like Lilly, who's a French woman, who's in a relationship with a robot that she 3D printed herself. Yes, the Daily Mail has reported that French woman Lilly she revealed that she is in love with a robot and is determined to marry it. Yes, you heard that right. And maybe you heard it here first. I don't know. But again, who didn't see this blanking coming? Lily's a partner, as she calls it, is called Inmovator. Inmoovator. Inmovator. And she 3D printed him all by herself. I don't know whether she has a 3D printer at home. I don't know whether she works in a lab in France and 3D printed him on her time off. They get a lot of time off in France. Or on her lunch hour or nappy time that they get in France too, from what I understand. And on her Twitter page, she calls herself Lilly Inmovator because she is determined. She already has a relationship with this robot who actually looks, if you've ever seen the movie I, Robot, not the body, but it doesn't really show the body. It shows a couple of robot arms and whatnot, but it has the face of one of those robots in I, Robot. It's a humanoid-looking face. It's all white, and it's got these glass eyes and everything. It's a little on the freaky side, but, of course, then again, Lilly must be a little on the freaky side, don't you think? And the Daily Mail reports that Lilly said she realized she was sexually attracted to robots at the age of 19 because she dislikes physical contact with people. Oy vey. And according to dig this, I didn't know there was such a thing. According to a sex robot expert, I don't know what that is or how you become one. I'm not sure I want to know that. But at any rate, according to this sex robot expert, humans will marry robots within the next 35 years. Not only, man, it's just, yeah, you know, you get the term stranger than fiction. This is it, brother. Not only this, but sex with robots will become more enjoyable than with other humans because of the advancement of artificial intelligence, he said. The first marriage will... I can barely finish this. Oh, jeez. The first marriage will be before, not after 2050, best-selling author and robot expert Dr. David Levy said during the Love and Sex with Robots conference at Goldsmiths University in London. I can't stand it. There's actually a conference, Sex with Robots, Love and Sex with Robots conference in London. Leave it to Europe, man. I got to tell you. And she complains. She describes herself as a proud robosexual, and says that her and her innovator will in fact marry as soon as they're engaged. Now, did you know? I don't know where they're registered Radio Shack. I don't know. But does he need software updates every once in a while or something? Does he get a malware? He goes crazy in the bedroom. He gets a virus. Where do you even go with this? It's just, I don't know. It's, leave it to the imagination. I don't know. But there you go. Lilly from France she's engaged to her robot that she printed herself. It doesn't say anything about their bedroom exploits. And boy, howdy, I think I'm glad of that. I don't know. I don't know what she printed in her lab. I give up. Forget this nonsense. I think I am done. I'm gonna try. I got to get this out before Christmas. I'm gonna post this on Saturday, Christmas Eve. It's not even very Christmas Eve-y, but I want to get this thing done and get this. It's like I said, it's not really appropriate for Christmas, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Whoever wants to listen can listen or not. Y'all have a blessed Christmas. God bless you all, and stay safe. And that's all I've got. We'll talk to you, I guess, next year, I suppose. This is the Common Constitutionalist, thanking you for listening. God bless you, and I'm out. Take care.